Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
All right, welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. I'm Andrew Rivera alongside Witchy Perfect, and we got a fun-filled episode for you. We'll be previewing Saturday night's main event, which is next Saturday on NBC and Peacock, and we'll be talking about some other things. So, how are you doing today?
Oh, good. Kind of shocked that they actually added another match now to Saturday night's main event, but we'll
Yeah.
get to that.
Hey, CBC, thank you for being here again.
CBC, it's time for a fight. Put 'em up. Put 'em up.
Yep. So, as everybody knows, Saturday night's main event is next Saturday. If you're watching this at 8 on NBC and Peacock, I just said that, but it's going to be there. And we will. There's 4 matches on the card, and I don't expect them to add another one because it's only 2 hours. So, I don't. So, and they're really going to be.
Please tell me
I
Jesse's
would
going to be
assume
there.
so. He's booked for all the Saturday
I hope
nights.
so.
I mean, so I mean,
That was
yeah.
his gig. That was his
Mhm.
thing.
So he's been the first 3 they've done. So as long as he's healthy, he'll be there most likely. So let's see. So yeah, let's start with the match they just added last night. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a steel cage match. So they're continuing this feud, even though I haven't really liked the matches so far, but they're continuing this feud, and it's this time in a steel cage. So I'm assuming this will be the last time they'll be wrestling each other, especially since Money in the Bank's right around the corner. So they'll all be focused on doing that.
Right.
So I guess this is like one final match. So who wins?
Well, kind of like the
Mm,
Punk and
mhm,
McIntyre. So they had that in Hell in a
mhm.
Cell, right? So that ended that
I'm
feud.
assuming.
Though I think they still would like to kind of bring it back because I know that McIntyre still talks about CM Punk.
Yeah.
I'm going with Drew. Because I think that I know he's won like every match so far, and it'll probably be Damian
Yeah.
Priest who wins. But I would like to see Drew win the cage match, though I have a feeling that they're going to be bloody up. So
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I assuming that Damien's gonna win because he's the baby face, and they're gonna if they're actually gonna end this feud after Saturday night's main event next week. So let's see. So yeah.
When I can see Drew going on to bigger and better things. I mean, he's already been Raw champ. Him going after maybe John Cena. Maybe they'll turn him. Maybe they'll turn McIntyre babyface again.
Possibly. I mean, it's
Unless they want to turn John Cena.
yeah. Possibly.
Can they? That's the question.
Okay. So yeah, let's see. I think that Damien's gonna win ultimately, but it's just completely. It's like one more match. Hopefully they're done with this because I've not really liked any of the matches. I mean, and they took themselves out of that U.S. title match for no reason at the Backlash, so it was really dumb. But
Mm-hmm.
let's see. So that's that. The next match on this card it's going to be John Cena versus R-Truth in a non-title match. So it's not a title match at least, but it's a.
Oh, well, then I could see R-Truth actually winning. But if it was a championship match, no way R-Truth is gonna win. When they literally pushed him back
Yeah.
down the card. No way.
So
No way.
So yeah, I would assume R-Truth has a shot. It could win this match somehow, but most likely it's going to be Cena because I'm not sure if Cena is going to put over R-Truth at this point, even if it's accidental like that. So yeah,
Well, and you were saying how Cena doesn't really put anybody over. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just literally, it is what it is.
Yeah. So let's see. The next match. This is a match I'm looking forward to. CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in a tag team match.
Now, see, but here's the thing. Like, I like Braun Breaker. I got his shirt
Yeah.
on. I love CM Punk. I don't like this. I don't know who to cheer for now. I'm just like, yeah, Punk, yeah. So I think depending on what happens in the Damian Priest and McIntyre match, I think what's going to happen is they kind of do it like in the 80s. They would do like a heel wins one, and then a babyface wins, and then a heel wins, and then a babyface wins. Very rarely do they have where like two babyfaces win in a row, but I'm pulling for Punk and Zayn because I love CM Punk, and I think it would be good for CM Punk to get that win back, since he got screwed over by Paul Heyman at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that the heels are going to win because they have, this is going to be a long-term program on Raw for the rest of the year. It's going to have to, you got to start off with a heel winning first, and those baby faces chasing eventually get the win back after a long time. But if this is going to be a one-off, the baby faces have to win. So it depends what their plans are, but I would go with the heels, but that's my prediction.
Yeah, well, and again, I'm gonna be happy no matter who wins because I like Braun Breaker. So whoever wins, I'll be happy either way. If Punk and Zayn win, great. If Breaker and Seth Rollins, even though I don't like Seth Rollins, win,
Yeah.
great. I'm not. I mean, Sammy is okay, but like I wouldn't cheer for him or buy any of his merch because he's just he's there. He's just a fill-in. I feel at this point.
Yep. So he's been around for years. So him and Kevin Owens been around for years. So yeah,
And the fact that they haven't become champ, he hasn't become champ. I mean, other than IC champ, he kind of has that like backstory of, yeah, he's the underdog, and he's also like, Mr. Perfect who never won a championship, or Piper never won his championship. That kind of stuff.
So yeah, that's probably. I wonder what match is going to go on last. Either it's going to be a tag team match, or so my prediction is the heels are going to win, but the world title match is after that. So the world title match is going to be the champion Jey Uso taking on Logan Paul.
Oh, please, Jey Uso. Please, if they let Logan Paul win this belt, I literally will boycott. Because this is why Logan Paul is not a wrestler. He is a YouTuber who saw wrestling on TV and said, I can do that. Well, guess what? You can't. I don't see anything good about Logan Paul whatsoever. And I agree with Punk, or someone else had said, this is the what he said, to the front of the line. It's the shortcut.
Yeah.
This is Logan Paul is nothing but literally a shortcut of people who, saw him on YouTube and then said, hey, okay, let's get him into wrestling. Did they teach him anything? Fuck no. They didn't teach him nothing. So I'm sorry, but I don't. Hi, kids. Hi, kids. I didn't say anything yet. I didn't say suck a dick yet. Oh,
there you go.
I didn't say it yet, though. But when we'll get there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Go ahead.
But
Finish.
what I see happening in this is like, I'm like, come on, Jey Uso, please, Jey Uso win. I just don't like Logan Paul. I think he's a smart mouth piece of crap. And literally, I know our guys. So I know Sabu. There you go, kids. Sabu could beat the crap out of Logan Paul. RVD could beat the crap out of Logan Paul. Everybody could beat him. Everyone from ECW, the Sandman, even freaking Paul Heyman at this point could beat the crap out of Logan Paul. So I'm definitely rooting for Jey Uso. And I'm not much really for Jey Uso either. He's kind of, But I mean, everyone in ECW can beat Logan Paul. Sabu!
Well, it's obvious to me that Jey Uso isn't losing his first title defense, so I don't think you have to worry about Logan Paul getting his belt, at least not for now, at least. So I don't know how, because I don't know how they'll do it, whether Jey Uso just going to beat him clean in the middle, or they're going to find some way to protect Logan Paul. So
That's for you, Kit.
I don't know what their plans are, how to beat Logan Paul, or they'll do some sort of count out disqualification to protect Logan Paul. So I don't think they want to.
I wouldn't be
I don't want.
surprised if Gunther comes out, and just kind of plants himself down in front of the, announce this and sits there and announces while they're doing it. Is Sabu?
Yeah. So I don't think Logan Paul's getting this belt, but you're welcome, man. I mean,
to you,
yeah.
Kit, we miss you, and I hope we're still on for July 11th. My 100th episode. We're gonna tape that a while.
Okay.
So both of you come. But you and Kit both better come. And Snow. We gotta get Snow on too. But
yeah, so there's the 4 matches on the card. It's obvious Jey Uso's retaining this belt. I mean, they're not gonna
I hope
switch.
so. I hope
It's his first title defense. He's not gonna get switched on like that. So yeah, especially when they've been building Jey Uso up for months for this. So I don't think he's gonna lose his belt immediately, even to a YouTuber. So that's Saturday night's main event for
All right.
you.
Good luck.
All right. Sounds good,
Good luck,
Kit.
Kit.
All right. See you later. Thank you for coming in for a minute here. Yeah. If you guys haven't, make sure you like and stuff and subscribe on YouTube at least.
ECW.
All right. Well, yeah, so we have that's it's kind of underwhelming. I mean, they're treating Saturday night's main event like another Raw or SmackDown. They're not really. I thought they would treat it like more like a serious, a pay-per-view type thing, but they're treating it as like a Raw or SmackDown. So, and it's shorter too. It's like 2 hours.
Well,
they're
no, I get that. But it's almost like they are they are actually treating it more like a pay-per-view. Have you kind of gotten that vibe? I mean, there's only like 4 matches. Yeah, it's 2 hours. Usually a pay-per-view is 3?
Yeah, 3 hours.
But I mean, they only have usually like 4 or 5 matches anyway.
It's usually
for
4 or
pay-per-view
5,
now, right?
yeah, but they're really long.
And Jesse Ventura is going to be on. So, I mean, there's that too. I mean, I can still like Jesse Ventura that he's a wrestler, because he was a wrestler. He's an old school wrestler. He's still, even though his politics suck right now because he obviously sucks dick for the DNC, but I can still like the fact that he was Jesse the Body and he likes to pose, and you saw him out there posing with all those boas and stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
I still love you, Jesse, even though you broke my heart.
Yeah, so let's see here. That's Saturday night's main event. I mean, it'll be next Saturday on NBC and Peacock. And then
sorry.
And then right after that, the Money in the Bank qualifying matches started last night on SmackDown.
Yes. So did you see that what's his name is Solo
he qualified. He's the first one to qualify.
Yes, he qualified.
So
it was him, Jimmy Uso, excuse me, and LA Knight.
They beat LA Knight again. So it's interesting.
I know. I think he's just at this point. Well, I think you were right. Like he's at that point in his career where, okay, so we're done with the belts now. So it's going to be where LA Knight is just kind of like getting people over, kind of like Bailey. Yeah. I was like watching Bailey, and Bailey's just getting people over, but she's like losing matches all the time. Yeah. So I think that LA Knight, I think his time has come. Because I don't know. I was watching that match on. Well, I wasn't watching it live or anything, but I was watching SmackDown highlights. And to be honest, watching LA Knight, he kind of looked like he couldn't go anymore. He kind of seemed lethargic, and I don't know if he just was missing spots or whatever, but there was like a lot of botches. Did you see what happened to Nia Jax?
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany.
Oh my gosh. Smacked her right in the face with the chair, and she's like, she was busted open, wide open, and she didn't even bleed. She didn't have to. Because Tiffany Stratton kicked that chair right into her face. and she had blood coming down her face like that.
Yeah, so that was busted open the hard way. And I think next week we'll review Money in the Bank and review Saturday night's main event. Money in the Bank is June 7th, so we have time for that. But yeah, the qualifying matches started. Solo Sikoa qualified, and who?
First one to do it. I mean, I didn't think Jimmy was gonna go. And then they had Ray Phoenix. Well, I know he wasn't gonna go. But I'm not really, no offense. I hope this doesn't like offend you or anything, but I'm not really into Ray
No,
Phoenix.
no.
I saw him jumping around. I'm like, what the hell's he jumping around for? Are you a monkey? What are
Yeah,
you
so they
doing?
beat LA Knight again. So that tells me either. No, here's the thing. At least when Vince was booking, when he would beat you all the time right before Money in the Bank, that means you were going over in Money in the Bank. But LA Knight didn't qualify, so unless they find some other way to get him into the match, he's not going to win this thing. So, uh,
And I've been seeing this on X, that Karrion Cross is going to qualify. I'm like, well, first of all, they'd have to give him a match. So
he would he would
fingers
have to get a
crossed.
match. He would have to
Fingers
get a
crossed. Come
qualifying match
on.
on Raw.
Push Karrion
He would have to
Cross.
get a qualifying match
Push that
on.
man. He deserves it.
So they
Push
haven't announced
Karrion Cross.
qualifying matches for Raw yet. They'll probably do that tomorrow because usually Adam Pearce does a video on Twitter, announcing matches and stuff. And that's usually,
Okay.
tomorrow on Sunday. But yeah, so right now I don't know who's going to be in the match. We know Solo Sikoa and the women. I think Alexa Bliss qualified, if I remember correctly.
I think
Yeah,
I saw
so it
that
was
too.
her
Yeah.
for the women's match. So again, I'm not a
But
fan of these matches. It usually becomes a stunt match, one of these stunts. Everybody just does a bunch of stunts onto the ladder. When I just look at him as like, you can win the match, right? Just grab it instead of jumping off it like an idiot,
yeah.
and going to the outside of the ring while everybody's standing there blatantly looking at you doing it and then catching you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing it, and you
yeah,
could just
uh-huh,
grab the
yeah.
briefcase anyway. I
Mm.
tend to agree that this is literally just becoming a sideshow,
It's a
like in a
stunt show.
circus or something. But yeah, a stunt show, and really, when it comes down to it, it makes me think of like Circus Soleil. I don't like these ladder matches. I never liked the ladder matches. I know Jim Cornette was talking about Sabu's one match with Terry
Yeah.
Funk. Hey, there you go, kid. In '94, they had a really bloody match, but it was a really good match. And Terry Funk didn't care. He was like in his
Yeah.
50s by then, and he still had a great match with Sabu. That was different. That was like, that was ECW in
Yeah.
its prime. So I haven't really watched ECW, but I can't make the comparison. But I mean, it sounds like to me that, from what ladders have become, ladder matches have become, they're just stunt shows.
It was Jim Cornette who discussed the Razor Shawn ladder match from WrestleMania 10, which is the first time they ever did it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, goddamn Razor and Shawn for having a great match with that concept that makes no sense,"
Right. And I mean, but they
No,
overdid it. See, that's the thing, is they overdid it, especially they had tables,
they
ladders,
did
and
it to
chairs
death. They did it too
matches.
much.
Yeah, they did it
Yeah,
way too much. And I'm not talking ECW. I'm talking
yeah,
WWE
yeah.
or WWF as it was at the time. Yeah, they just did it way, way too much, and people just got tired of it. And I understand that. I mean, this is like
It is.
tradition,
It's kind of
but
become the
like,
Royal Rumble. Every year they kind of become the Royal Rumble. And now they have to have a women's match and a men's match. We're not.
no, tomorrow or next Saturday, Prince.
Uh,
Next Saturday.
no, it's
We're
no, it's
on
next
instead.
Saturday.
No.
It's the
Yeah, it's next
24th.
Saturday, dude.
That's why we're previewing it now, but we've kind of previewed it
Yep.
already. So yeah, so I don't like Money in the Bank. I'm not a fan of it. They initially had it on WrestleMania, but eventually they moved it to its
Okay.
own pay-per-view because it initially got over. It was popular. Now I think it's getting kind of old, and it's
Well, now are they going to take away? Because usually June was King of the Ring, so now they're going to take it away.
um.
Take away King of the Ring again.
Did he do it? They did it last year, didn't they? In Saudi Arabia.
They did King of the Ring, but Maybe they did it in July.
Yeah, they did it. I think they did in Saudi Arabia last year. Now it's not on the It's
Oh
not on the schedule
man.
this year because they're doing they're going back to Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions. I think in September. So
Can we not?
because
Not go to
that's
Saudi?
when the whole fiasco when CM Punk was in the promotions, even though he wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
He's not booked for the
Right.
show.
Well, as you said, they knew CM Punk was not
Yeah,
going to go
his
because of
political
his
beliefs. Yeah.
views on, yeah, but and rightfully so. I wouldn't want to go. Doesn't matter how
First of
much
all,
money I can make. I would
it's
not
an
go to Saudi
18-hour
Arabia.
flight or 16-hour flight. It's brutal. So, and WWE rents this giant jet, like like a military type plane, where and that's the only planes that can get out there. But yeah, it's just and I think they're doing it once this year because I haven't. That's the only and that one they've announced so far. They usually go twice a year, but yeah, he's not booked. I mean, I don't know why they added Punk and immediately, what a hypocrite Punk is. He it,
He's not
no,
a
but that's
no.
not
He's
his
not a
fault. He didn't ask for
hypocrite.
his WWE to do that. That was their mistake.
Oh, they just kind
Yeah.
of did it, like thinking, oh, he's gonna change his mind. Probably. Oh, he'll change his mind. We'll just give him a bunch of money, and he like, no, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia.
So I think they added Seth Rollins to it instead of Punk.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Prince, just to let you know, Saturday night's main event was never an every Saturday thing. They would only have one like maybe once or
it's
twice
every
a
quarter.
month back in 80, 88 and 89.
It was it's every quarter, so they have it four times
It was
a
every
year.
quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so they have it like 4 times a year. That was never really a thing that it wasn't like Raw in 93 when they made Raw every
Yeah.
Monday night.
And
It wasn't like
yeah, I was gonna
Superstars. They would
say
have
I
that every
don't know.
Saturday. I just saw something. They just pulled something from the vault. I think it was from the vault. It's Superstars, and guess who's commentating? That's right, Mr.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I used to.
Mr.
What
Perfect was
was on every
commentating.
Saturdays back in the day was Superstars. It was in the morning usually,
Superstars,
at
yep,
least in this area, it was in the morning.
yep,
It's syndicated, so it's different times in different parts of the country. But
yep.
yeah, that was the only WWF we got to see. This was before the weekly Raws and the and then definitely before SmackDown. But it was definitely
Well, and eventually Saturday Night's main event would stop in like what 91,
Vince stopped doing it.
92. Did they ever get to 93?
Hold on, I'm looking at Saturday Night's main event now. Hold on, the original run was the first one was hold on, here we go. Okay, 1985 to 1991 was the last one. And
Okay,
then
there you go.
apparently Fox did 2. I didn't know this. If Fox did in
In
92.
92?
So I
Oh
didn't know
wow,
this. I
okay.
didn't actually never saw these live. They did one February 8th, 92 and November 14th, 92.
Okay. No wonder because if you go on Peacock and look at Saturday Night's main event, I know it goes up so far and
It,
then because I've been doing
it
kind of
should
like
go.
Saturday Night's main events, with Kurt in them because there was that big one with him and Hogan, and then there was one with him, Hogan, Lanny, and Warrior.
It's really
So
small, but I had no idea they had a Fox one, but this is the logo for the Fox one. It's grainy as hell, but I've never seen this. So
oh,
I didn't know
okay.
until I looked at it. It's like, so yeah, that's the logo for the Fox
Hmm.
Saturday Night's main event. So they did that from in 92. So you wouldn't
Carrying Cross is
whoop,
one of them.
let's see. So and then it came
Yeah, so yeah, they did have
yeah, it
some
was
in
on Fox though.
92.
And then it came back to
Right.
NBC. Vince did it for a couple of years from 2008, 2006, 2008. So it was March of 2006 to
Okay.
August 2nd, 2008. And then now TKO WWE was brought it back in December 14th, 24 to today, basically the present. So they had like 3 different runs, and now this is the 4th one on table. I mean on basic, not basic cable, network television. That's what I meant to say.
Well, yeah, but it's also
Yeah,
on
so it's
Peacock,
online.
so I
Yeah,
have a
I
subscription to
wa-
Peacock, so
I
I'll
watched the
be
first one on
watching there.
NBC, but the volume was so low. My mother was like, "Just can you put it on Peacock? Maybe higher." It's like okay, and it was much higher. It's like okay, well we'll keep watching it on Peacock then. Is because she has YouTube
Yeah.
TV, so we get our local NBC affiliate. So I was watching it there, and because she
Oh,
wants
okay.
YouTube TV, I don't. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have cable. But so that was,
They better.
that.
They better push Karrion Kross, or I'm gonna somebody else. He's such a nice dude. I watched his documentary and I can't say enough great things. I was almost in tears at some of the moments, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this. They aren't pushing this guy." Like, and like CM Punk, like I didn't like him at first, but boy, he grew on me. Karrion Kross really grew on me, and I just only seen him a couple of times on Raw, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Who is that?" Oh, that's Karrion Kross. Well, he's crazy, but he's our crazy. So, about the Hogan thing, Hogan never ceases to amaze me what he's willing to put up, what we're willing to put up with from him. Now he wants to buy Hooters. Oh, good. So he can traffic more people.
The company,
what you gonna
the
do,
parent
brother?
company that he
Okay.
started the Real American Wrestling with, the freestyle wrestling, that company is planning to buy Hooters, or made an offer for Hooters, who's bankrupt right now. The company's bankrupt, so they're going through bankruptcy right now. So
It's not like chicks ain't got the stuffing to go to it, but all I'm saying is it's the economy. It's always the economy, stupid. So that's why a lot of these restaurant chains are in dire straits, because people can't afford to go out to eat anymore.
McDonald's and Burger King are too expensive. When McDonald's and Burger King are too expensive, there's major issues in the economy. All right. So what's funny is the next Saturday night's main event is scheduled for July 12th, 2025. And the reason why that's funny, that's the same exact night as All In, AEW's pay-per-view. Their WrestleMania. The same exact night.
Well, they're gonna say, if they have bad ratings, and they're gonna have bad ratings, they're gonna say, but WWE was on.
They're ready. The AEW
go
marks
suck a
are
dick.
already complaining about it. It's like, oh, they're booked Saturday night's main event in the exact. This is, by the way, the 40th episode of Saturday night's main event. It says XL, so it's the 40th episode they've done throughout all their runs. So there's gonna be a big one. They're probably, especially if it's all up against All In, they're gonna probably stack that card. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, I hope they put Karrion Kross on it. Come on, push that guy. I can't say that enough.
Karrion Kross, and I'm not sure. I assume you saw it, but there's there were fans talking to him about they couldn't get his T-shirt live on at the events.
Right.
So and
Yeah, I
now
retweeted that.
starting on Monday, you'll be able to get his T-shirt. So usually you only get the T-shirts at the events from the top guys, like the Cody Rhodes or the CM Punks or the Seth Rollins or stuff like that. So you don't get everybody, because they would have like 20 trucks of T-shirts and stuff, because you can't carry everybody's T-shirt. So you got to go to WWE Shop to get it. And by the way, Karrion Kross T-shirt is the top selling T-shirt for the last couple of months. So
yeah, it has been. I'm saving up for mine, man. I can't wait. I'm stoked. But again, I gotta save up for it, because I'm kind of low on cash right now. But I'm saving up for mine, guys. I'm gonna get my Karrion Kross shirt. Get yours today. And yes, AEW unfortunately is still around.
We're technically a wrestling show, and we're technically supposed to talk about it, but it's been so brutal, especially with Dean Ambrose. So John Moxley is champion.
Oh,
And I call him the alleged world champion, because we've not seen that belt in 7 months. So that's why it's in a briefcase. That's the whole story there. The main story right now in AEW. The world champion.
Right. And now we go to Darby, who is climbing Mount
He's still
Everest.
alive. He's currently climbing it. So as far as we know, he's still alive and climbing it. So yeah, he's not dead yet. So if he somehow survives, he's gonna beat Moxley for this belt when he probably at All In when he returns. Because they're waiting for him. They're waiting for him to climb Everest before. Yeah, that's why Moxley's been champion all this time. Because they're kind of been twiddling their thumbs, like stalling for time until he returns. And John Moxley had a steel cage match on Wednesday with Samoa Joe for the world title, which has probably been his best match as champion. Of course, Moxley won somehow by interference in a steel cage match. Like, how the fuck does that make sense? A steel cage match. The whole point of steel cage match is no interference, because usually, especially back in the day, in our day, territory days, they would set up steel cage matches when the heel kept winning by interference, or they kept, their stable kept interfering. So they're like, you know what, we're gonna do a steel cage match so nobody can interfere. And then usually that's when the babyface would win and get the belt or whatever.
Right.
But
I think that kind of changed around Austin. Austin versus McMahon in a steel cage at St. Valentine's Day Massacre when Paul White comes up through the ring and throws Austin, and the cage gives away.
That was kind of the first time I saw interference in a steel cage match, which kind of changed, that formula. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
I mean, it was for its time, it was better than the shit you see on AEW at any point in time. And that's why I kind of said about the Billy Jack Haynes Dark Side of the Ring thing, where they had Dave Meltzer on there, and he's sitting there going, I don't think you can believe anything Billy Jack Haynes says. Honey, you gave these Circus Soleil performers in AEW 6 and 7 stars. Don't sit here and tell me I can't believe what Billy Jack Haynes says. Sorry, Meltzer. You are just as delusional.
And we got Will Ospreay obsessed with Triple H for whatever reason. Because Triple H made that comment that he wasn't but last year's WrestleMania. Triple H didn't mention Will Ospreay's name, but he's like, oh, certain guys in the indies are not ready for the grind of WWE. So of course Will Ospreay took it to mean himself, even though Triple H never mentioned his name. Ever since then, he's been obsessed with Triple H, or WWE in particular. It's like, oh, AEW wrestlers are a million times. Our ring product is better than WWE's. It's not even close. And it's like, no.
No, sorry, Will Ospreay. Apparently, you haven't been looking at your ratings lately, because that should tell you that WWE has been beating your ass this whole fucking time.
Yep.
I'd watch Animal Planet. I did. I watched the Puppy Bowl actually, then watch AEW. I mean, I only hear about AEW honestly when I listen to Jim Cornette, and that's because they do the ratings after they talk about all these incessant, ugly matches that literally. And then I heard one of the fans had called in, or not called in, they had emailed in and said, well, why do you have to fat shame? Why do you have to, be ageist? Oh, you know what? Fuck you, dude. It goes for that guy last night. That guy, there was a guy last night that was literally saying stupid stuff about us talking about Africa. Hey, at least we're bringing it up. And if you don't like what we're saying, you don't like what someone's saying on their own fucking show, then get your own. Get your own fucking show. Don't sit here and tell people who have a show what to do on their show. You're not the fucking boss. Get your own show and show us how it's done. Okay? Other than that, shut your fucking mouth. Go suck a dick. There you go. Sorry, kid. I said it.
And then and his match with Samoa Joe was the best match of his run so far, because Samoa Joe. I mean, Samoa Joe is just serving out his contract in order to return WWE, because he's a Triple H guy. Triple H, they have a great relationship. So as soon as Samoa Joe's contract is up, he's bouncing back to WWE. So, and finishing up his career there. So he's already in like mid-40s, I think. So I'm not sure how much time he has in wrestling.
I mean, they already took several wrestlers from AEW. They took Penta. They took Ray Phoenix. Now they took Aleister Black. Yeah. Aleister Black is back. So I didn't see him on SmackDown last night. Thank the goddess. I'm not really much for those guys because I was like, yeah. AEW kind of stained them. Where I thought that sorry, I thought about that with Punk at first. He had that AEW stain on him, but then he started growing on me, and I'm like, all right, fine, Punk, fine.
Punk is. He was a good he's a good worker still. It's just that he was working with a bunch of children, basically.
Kids. Yeah,
and he looked bad.
Everyone is jumping ship. That's right. Everyone's jumping
Punk
ship.
Looked bad, honestly, in AEW. There were a lot of matches where, like, I think he's past. He may be done here. I mean, he was just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna take this guy money and not put in the effort. He's phoning in his performances, but now in WWE, he's like he's rejuvenated. He's better than ever. I'm like, oh wow. I mean, he just wanted to get the fuck out of there, which I don't blame him, especially after the incident with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and then Jack Perry, where he had to choke him. He's like, I just choked him a little bit. That's it. It wasn't a big deal. It's what we do in wrestling. Of course.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have to do that. I mean, there shouldn't. No one goes into like. First of all, if that had happened when in our
Mhm.
day with those wrestlers, literally the other wrestlers would have beaten the shit
Yeah.
out of them. Like literally, Punk should have just beaten the crap out of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and like leave them as bloody
Well,
pulps. I mean, because I know Kurt would do this. I know Rick Rude would do this. Oh my God, if someone had busted in the door in Rick Rude's
no, you better you
locker room,
you better
oh
be
my
ready.
God, you better hope you better
You
hope
bet.
that literally Rick Rude is
Yeah.
passed out drunk on the floor
Yeah,
because he would
yeah, he
kick your
would.
motherfucking
If you're
ass.
gonna do that, you need to be ready to fight for your life because that's the way it needed to be. Same thing with
Because Rick
it's
don't take
same
no
thing
shit.
with Haku and his famous stories. Yeah,
Same with Haku.
yeah.
Same with Kurt Hennig. Same with all those
Eric
guys.
Bischoff in WCW is like, why didn't you fire Haku? He was there the entire time. It's like, honestly, we're too scared to fire Haku, so we just had him around doing nothing and give him his money.
Those Samoans. Those
At
Samoans were
least
pretty tough.
At
Yeah,
least
you didn't
Eric
want to
Bischoff was
screw with
honest. Like,
them.
hey, I was too scared to fire Haku. So,
So I mean, there's literally and then you have dumbasses like Ricochet going, "Oh, we're the best company
oh,
in the world. Don't you see me? I suck Tony Khan's dick." And then that one guy, I don't even remember his name, but he came back and he's like, you work for a crackhead."
that's Javon Evans in NXT.
Yes.
He,
I was
yeah,
like, brilliant,
of course. See,
brilliant,
I knew he would delete
brilliant.
the tweet because I'm sure WWE got to him. And was like, "What are you doing? I mean, don't respond to Ricochet."
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Don't just shut
dude
shut up.
the dude has been crashing out on X for months. I mean, he's been responding to other content creators in this space, and he hasn't responded to me yet. But I guarantee you, he will at some point. Occasionally, I respond to one of his tweets like, "Dude, you're crashing out. Just calm down and work, get better,
Yeah, I
improve your
mean,
promos, improve your matches. They're not good. That's why you're struggling in ratings, and you're just crashing out on
well, and
X."
that's why you're also on the B program. I mean, if you think about it, AEW is all the rejects that couldn't make it in WWE.
Yeah.
Well, Ricochet, you suck. You couldn't make it in
Uh,
WWE, so now you're bitching that you're
yeah, we
in
have a correction here.
AEW.
Haku is Tongan, not Samoan, but
Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
hmm
You're right. You're right. But I still wouldn't
yeah.
fuck with him. I wouldn't fuck with him. I would fuck with oh God, what's his name?
Oh
Rikishi.
yeah,
And
all
he
the
was
Samoans and the
Samoan.
Tongans too. To be fair,
None of those Samoans would I ever. And Rick Rude, I wouldn't. No, nope.
there's
I wouldn't mess with any of those guys. I'd be like,
I
yes, sir, no,
guarantee you,
sir.
there's no way
Mm-hmm.
the elite would mess when it would survive in the 80s and 90s in wrestling.
Oh, I'd like to see the Young Bucks try to, bust down the door, and there's Haku like, I'd be like, I'm going this way. You just about to get the fuck beaten out of you.
There was this one story I remember Haku where he had a match with Brutus Beefcake, and Brutus Beefcake complained to the office how Haku was too hard, hit him too hard. So Haku walked into the locker room and like just grabbed him by his throat like this, and it's like, "You got a problem?"
Right,
Yeah,
with
with
the
that
what was
Tongan
that?
grip
The
thing, yeah,
Tongan
yeah,
death
which is
death grip.
legitimate because he used it on Brutus, and everybody was too scared to even reproach him. It's like, can somebody get Hogan? He's the only one that can calm him down.
Really? Haku would listen to
Yeah, he
Hogan?
respected Hogan because he was the one drawing the money.
Oh
He was
man,
the one
come
drawing the
on.
money for him to feed his family. That's why I respected Hogan. But
Yeah, but he could so take
yeah, I
out
know he could.
Hogan.
Yeah,
Hogan is such
yeah.
an asshole. He's such a
So
pussy.
Hogan showed up. Was like, "Okay, he didn't mean it, Haku. Can you please put him down?" He's like, "Okay," and that was it. But
Yeah, don't fuck with those Tongans or
it's like, what?
Samoans.
Like, what
Trust
kind of
me.
bitch are you? You're in the wrestling business, and I hate you too hard. I mean, if
Well, yeah. But Ed was like that,
yeah,
there I wish that they had not ended Kurt's streak with Ed or Brutus Barber Beefcake because at WrestleMania 6, that's when the perfect record was destroyed. So it was like for a year and a half, I want to say, Kurt was, at least a year, maybe not a
I
half,
remember
but
that they
at least a
basically
year.
wasted his his undefeated streak on Brutus, and
just to cut Lanny's hair
Yeah.
again. This is what I thought they should have done. I said this on my show. I said, if anything, instead of Lanny, just have Lanny wear a wig. He looked ridiculous after he had his hair cut, and they made him wear a wig. Just let him wear the wig. They could cut the wig, and then he wouldn't have to bitch about his own hair.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Why did they cut Lanny's hair like that?
So they can. Here's the thing that I think we have to kind of understand about the modern WWE. It's not really a pro wrestling company. It's an entertainment company. They see themselves as that.
That's why it's
Yeah.
WWE.
So when you see guys like Logan Paul in the main events of shows, it's because of that. They're looking for that casual audience that likes. They like to see Logan Paul in the ring. They like to see Bad Bunny in the ring. He had a match like 3 years ago, which he defeated.
I don't even know who that is.
Puerto Rican he sings he's a Puerto Rican rapper pretty much. And they had a show in Puerto Rico. So this is before we did the show. Yeah, it's 2022. So yeah, so they have him in the ring. They're talking about putting Travis Scott in the ring. Like,
oh, please God, us no. Please no.
Yeah, they're train.
Or at least teach him how to fucking work, because literally the only reason why he was at WrestleMania was so that Cody Rhodes could get receipts.
Yeah, and somehow he can cost Cody Rhodes the world title or WWE Championship.
The world title, right.
That we got into that after during the WrestleMania review, and that pissed me off because The Rock just ruined that main event and had no intention of coming back either because he was doing a movie. So I'm like, then why did he insert himself in the main event angle for no reason? Just to have Travis Scott interfere in WrestleMania, and they did nothing with it. It was just pointless.
Something like that.
Jacob Fatu.
It was kind of like
Jacob Fatu is one that he's
Jacob Fatu. I wouldn't want to mess with Jacob Fatu. But it kind of goes, and they were talking about this. I guess this is why they were showing it on X, is when Master P came. He was in AEW, and they want to get him into AEW. I'm like, please, no, not Master P. The same guy who pushed Kurt's face into a fucking cake, and the audience is standing there like, that's not supposed to happen. What the fuck's going on?
And it's Master P. He wasn't even over. Like WCW.
He wasn't over. Neither was his unlimited soldiers or limited soldiers.
I think Russo.
Like
I think was in '99. Russo was booking. He didn't understand WCW's audience.
Yes,
like that's a Southern territory. So of course, Kurt doing the country music gimmick he was doing at the time, he was over. He was the babyface. He was supposed to be the heel.
He was the babyface.
Supposed to be the heel because Vince is from New York. So he's like, oh, well, Master P is over in New York, so let's bring him in here and feud with the West Texas Rednecks, I think they were called. Yeah,
Rednecks,
so
right.
I wasn't watching WCW but much in '99, and I was at that point I knew they were done.
Oh, I was. And I was watching so much of it that literally I got Rap is Crap stuck in my head, because every time they would come out, to Rap is Crap, and I would literally be singing it. So I admit I was watching WCW, and I literally got Rap is Crap stuck in my head. But yeah, I mean, it's you don't want to mess with those guys, and yet they seem to think that everyone in that locker room in AEW thinks they are so big and bad that they could win, like blindfolded in a fight.
99% of AEW locker rooms are just pussies.
No Limit Soldiers. It was it No Limit Soldiers? Is from Louisiana. Yeah, but they were in Louisiana, and Master P wasn't over. Especially in Louisiana, everyone was like, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah, they would see him as just I think Master P is a rapper. So why in the world would Russo think that'd be over in a territory that WCW came from the old Jim Crockett Promotions, which is a Southern territory.
Mm-hmm. Which was a Southern
they would work Dusty and Flair, and all these guys were like they worked the harder style, that more kick-ass style. Vince worked the WWF worked more the flashy style. The matches weren't anywhere near as good.
Yeah.
So even I was like, because I saw WCW in the early '90s on Turner at TBS. That was the early '90s when this is. Flair left in '91, came in WWF in '92.
Right.
So I saw
Stayed
Yeah, I
till
saw Flair in
93.
WCW first, and before he jumped to WWF.
Well, yeah, he was
Yeah,
world champ,
yeah,
wasn't
he
he?
was the world champion, and the whole story, real quick,
Yeah.
goes: Flair was the champion. He wouldn't drop the belt unless he got his deposit back, which at the time the world champion would give a deposit in order to guarantee his appearances. It's more like a fee. And not Jim Crockett, Jim Hurd wouldn't pay him his fee, so it's like, okay, the belt's mine. And Vince like, you know what? Come up with the belt. We'll call you the real world champion, and we'll promote you that way in your debut. And of course, they stuck him in Bobby Heenan because once you stick him in Bobby Heenan in New York, then you're over. As a heel. New York being WWF,
Right.
so I just called it New York.
Just like they did
Yeah.
with Kurt and Rick Rude before Rick defected to WCW.
Yeah.
Which, no offense, Rick, I wouldn't have cut the hair. I would have cut the long hair. But I think he just wanted to reinvent his character. But yeah, I wouldn't have cut the hair.
Problem is, there was no real story
Yeah, the
behind it,
problem
and
is there
Master
was
P
no,
wasn't there all the time. Yep.
I mean, I get that, but I still don't get the fact that they had to push Kurt's face into a cake. I mean, literally the crowd's standing there like this, and they're just looking at each other. And then of course you see Kurt go like this, and like
The only good celebrity WCW brought in was Dennis Rodman. Yeah, I mean, Rodman.
Yeah, but I also like when they were bringing oh God, what's the hell is his name? The other football guy, Kevin Green. They would bring him in from time to time, and he actually made more sense than fucking Goldberg did.
Kevin Green.
Goldberg's a football guy. Yeah,
Kevin
he was.
Green, Steve Mongo McMichael passed away recently. Rest in peace. And
yes.
And Goldberg became.
In fact, I literally just showed episode 86, I think, is no, I guess it's 87. So there's some coming. There are I have some matches with Kurt that Mongo had. One is a house show, the other is WCW. It was like in 98. The other one I think might be in 97. I'm not sure. 97, 98-ish. Yeah, so yeah, I mean I just sorry we went off on a tangent, but I mean I can't stand these people in AEW. Oh, we're the shit. No, you ain't. Trust me, if you had to actually be in a locker room with a real wrestler from our time, like Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, even Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, if they had to actually be in the ring with these guys or back in the locker room, they wouldn't survive.
No.
They'd get their ass beat.
Yeah, the reason why I'm putting those links there, I want you guys to jump over to those platforms because we're moving there to do our clips in a few minutes. So
yeah, we're gonna have some clips. I hope Kit, if you can hear me, blink twice if you're in trouble. No. No, I'm kidding, Kit. No, seriously, go over to Rumble or wait, you're on X, I think.
No, he can stay there, yeah, because
okay, then you can stay on X. But we're gonna show you a clip where Drew McIntyre literally screws up on his own name. I'm like, he botched his own name.
Yeah.
I was watching SmackDown at work going, he literally just botched his own name. And he just kind of like chuckles about it, for a second. And then it goes back into, serious mode. But that's almost like Kurt couldn't say the narcissist Lex Luger. He kept saying the Lexus, the narcissist Lex Luger.
Yeah, so it's, AEW is just a joke. That's why I haven't mentioned them in months, even though we've really done a whole segment on them, even though technically we should be doing it because we've been talking, we're pro wrestling.
I mean, we are all encompassing. Yes, we are all
I could bring up TNA everyone. I haven't brought them up in a while, even though they've been basically working with WWE and they've been doing pretty good work lately. So maybe I could.
And that's because they have that deal with WWE. Is that right?
They have that deal.
Well, yeah, they had Joe Hendry on, and he's the TNA champion. Yeah, they had him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he worked Randy Orton. Randy Orton, beat him in less than 5 minutes, but the point.
But showed him respect. Yeah. And I don't even like Joe Hendry. I'm like, fuck
Yeah,
you.
I thought we were thinking, well, it could be Rusev, it could be Aleister Black, it could be this guy or that guy, and it's like, oh, it's Joe Hendry. Okay, that was kind of disappointing, but at the same time, I understand as soon as his contract is up with TNA, which I think is at the end of the year, he's signing with WWE. So that's
I would not be surprised. I mean, they literally just brought up Julia and Roxanne Perez. Not really surprised there. I mean, because at this point, Roxanne Perez, her thing is she's got to either sink or swim here.
That's why
you either make it in the
that's
WWE
why
or you
they
don't.
separated her from Julia. They just had that one match on Raw, and then they did a segment after the show where Julia's like, you know what, I'm done with you. There's no we. And then as she shows up on SmackDown, now she's a SmackDown wrestler. So yeah.
Okay.
So
well, there
Roxanne
you go.
has to.
So for both of them, you either sink or you swim.
Julia's gonna swim. She's gonna be a star. Roxanne, I question.
I bet both of them.
I don't
Roxanne
think so.
Perez,
I don't see it in her. Her promos and her gimmick. She's just phony. She can do the moves.
Oh, the other person I forgot. They got Stephanie Valkyrie.
Stephanie Valkyrie. Again, I butcher her name too, as I do most people. Whoops.
She excuse me, she has charisma. Yeah. I don't even think her name is Stephanie, but I think that's funny that her and I share the same name. But that probably is just a stage name. But they stole her from AEW. She was in AEW.
She was.
So there's another one where they keep getting. They got Aleister Black, Ray Phoenix, Penta, Stephanie Valkyrie. I mean, and they're taking all the people that couldn't make it in WWE, Ricochet, and literally discarding them. So, I mean, they are getting people that are actually making it. How can we like you if you don't go away? So they go away to AEW and they got that stench on them. And then they're like, come back and everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're back. Oh my God. So that's for Kit. Pants. I am wearing pants, but I'm not going to show you, Kit. Even though you are my work husband.
So we got plenty. So yeah.
But yes, I am wearing pants.
That's the AEW talk. I mean, that's why I haven't mentioned them, because not much to be, impressed about.
I only catch up with them, honestly, when Jim Cornette talks about them. That's the only time I ever hear about AEW.
Yeah, it's not, what are they?
I'm not going to pay $50 for shit that I don't want to watch. I don't even have the money for that anyway.
Oh, yeah. Just awful.
Yay, Alex! Pants forever. Should I do a pants check, everybody? Everybody in the comment section, real quick. Tell me, should I do a pants check?
All right, if you're on YouTube, just migrate to the other platforms. I put in the
this way.
I put in the chat, so we'll see you over there, and hope everybody has a great weekend. Angel in the afternoons will be back Fridays at 7. We'll be back for Pro Wrestling Talk on Sunday, programming update at 7, because we're watching that Saturday night's main event, which will most likely be pretty mediocre. But we'll review it, we'll discuss it, and
we can on the Sunday we'll tell you how shitty it was or how good it was. We shall see.
So hope everybody.
But comment really fast. Comment really, really fast if you want to see me do a pants check.
So, we'll be on X. We'll be on Kick. We'll be on Rumble.
Yeah, you stay where you are, kid.
We'll be on Twitch and Kick and Rumble and X. I just said that. But, we'll be in every other platform instead of YouTube, except YouTube. So, hope everybody has a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll see you Friday for Angel in the afternoon. Oh, by the way, Angel in the afternoon. I mean, we did really well. We got 115 views in 24 hours on the INN channel.
Wow.
So that's my best performance, since that.
We are becoming celebrities, little bro.
I guess because that had something to do with it being the episode.
I had nothing to do with it. I just talk. That's my thing. I just talk.
Okay, you just talk.
Wow, it's better than sucking a dick. I don't think you guys want to see that.
I hope everybody has a great weekend and migrate to other platforms and watch clips. If not, we'll see you guys next week on next Sunday. So have a nice weekend. Oops. No. Not that.
Nobody beats Mr.
Not
Perfect.
that.
Nobody.
I nearly ended the stream completely. Hold on.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. I don't want to end
No,
the stream yet.